All right, guys, this is the worksheet Intro to Circles. I'm going to move along through this fairly rapidly, but if I'm moving too fast, make sure you pause as we go along, because some of this work you will be doing on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. The first question, how many degrees are in a circle? This may be something you're familiar with already. It's 360 degrees. Think like in basketball, if someone does a 360 degree dunk, which means they spin all the way around. So then the next question, how many degrees are in a semicircle? Semicircle just means a half circle. So there's 180 degrees in a half circle. So we'll use that fact a lot to solve these problems. Remember, we had a lot of triangle problems where we added things together and set it equal to 180. That will happen again, but it'll also happen where we add things together and set it equal to 360. So we're going to use those two facts to answer some questions here in a little bit. We've talked about a little bit of this already. To name a circle, you need the center. To name the circle, name this particular circle, we would just call it circle R. So you just need to know the center point to name that circle. Name all the radii. That's the plural form of radius. So there are several radii in this problem. The radius goes from the center to some point on the circle. So there's one example of a radii. That is segment AR. It's a segment, so I write that line above AR. You could also say RA. I've got segment RX, or you could call that segment XR. That's also a radius. Segment RY goes from the center to a point on the circle, so that's a radius. And last but not least, segment RB has to go from the center to the outer edge of the circle. So those are all of the radii in this particular problem. Next question is name the diameters. The diameters, recall, are just a chord that go through the center of the circle. So here's an example of a chord because both of the endpoints are on the circle, but it also goes through the center. So one of our diameters is the segment AB, or you could say segment BA. And our other diameter goes from the endpoint X to the endpoint Y, and it also goes through the center of that circle. So segment XY or segment YX is the other diameter. And those are all the diameters in this circle. There's only two. So question 4 says name all the chords that are not the diameter. Remember, a chord is a segment that has both endpoints on the circle. An example of a chord that's not the diameter would be segment YB. Both of the endpoints are on the circle, and it's not a diameter because it doesn't go through the center of the circle. So see if you can find another chord in the diagram. Looking up there, on the other side, you've got segment AX. Again, make sure you have the line on the top to tell us that this is a segment, and those are the only two chords that are not the diameter in this problem. Remember, a chord has to have both endpoints on the circle. Next question, list 4 central angles. So an angle, now we're looking at degrees inside this circle. A central angle has the vertex at the center. So one central angle I see is this one I've drawn right here. So that's a central angle because the vertex is at the center. We need 3 letters to name that angle. And we also need the symbol. There's the symbol for angle. That is angle YRB. You could also say angle BRY. It's talking about the same angle. Notice in both of those, R is in the center because it's the vertex of the angle. So I'm going to look through there and find another central angle. Another central angle would be the angle ARY. Is that the central angle because the vertex is at the center. So again, make sure you have the symbol. That is angle ARY. You could also say angle YRA. See if you can find two more central angles. I encourage you to go ahead and pause the video, see if you can find those, and I'll give you the answer here in about 5 seconds. But pause it, see if you can get it on your own. So there's the third angle I found. I found angle ARX, or you could call it angle XRA. And then there's the final angle, the red angle. That's a central angle as well because the vertex is at the center. You only need one of these. Angle XRB and angle BRX are the same angle. So you only need to list one or the other. So next what we're going to do is we're going to list at least two minor arcs. Our minor arcs are an arc on the circle that's less than 180 degrees. So this is one of the few real new things in this lesson. So one minor arc, and this is on the outer edges of the circle, would be arc YB. So from Y to B, and here's how you write it. YB, and there's the symbol. And we know that's less than 180 degrees because that's less than half of the circle. And we just said earlier, half of the circle is 180 degrees. So this part in yellow that I'm drawing, that's 180 degrees. A minor arc is any arc that is less than that amount of the circle. So see if you can name one more minor arc. There's a lot of them up there. And it doesn't matter whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. And it's important to know, since we only use two letters and we know it's a minor arc, when I say arc YB, that does not mean from Y all the way over here to B, because that's way more than 180 degrees. When I say arc YB, we're talking about, since I just used two letters, we're talking about the arc that's less than 180 degrees. So if we name one more minor arc, again, there's a lot of them. I'm going to go with, you could say arc XA or arc AX. I'm just going to go with arc XB. Because that's still less than half a circle. And again, anytime we talk about minor arcs, we use just two letters. So arc XB. All right, so now let's list a major arc. We're going to list two of those. I'm going to write this little note here. For number 6, we needed two letters because it's a minor arc. And for number 7, the major arc, we always use 3 letters. And a major arc has to have a degree greater than 180 degrees. So we need to find an arc that's greater than 180 degrees. And again, there's a lot to choose from. I'm going to go all the way over here. I'm going to go from Y. We have to go further than from Y to X because, again, that's half a circle that I've just drawn. I'm going to go from Y all the way to B. We would not say this is arc YB. If we said this was arc YB, again, we would be talking about this one we listed earlier. Since it's a major arc, we're going to use 3 letters. So the 3 letters I'm going to choose are Y, A, B. So arc YAB, that just tells me I'm going the direction, which direction I'm going. I'm going from Y to A to B. It's important to note we could have also called this arc YXB. So arc YAB and arc YXB are the same thing. So those are both major arcs. See if you can find one other major arc. An arc, name it with 3 letters, Arc has to be greater than 180 degrees. There should be 3 letters in your major arc answer. A lot of different choices. But I'm going to go from A. Going to have to go past from A to B because that's 180 degrees. Major arc has to be greater than half a circle. So arc AXY. That would be an example of a major arc. But again, you could also call that arc ABY. So it just tells us which direction we're going here. The key is you have to have the beginning letter, which I do, and the ending letter, which I also do. So I have A and a Y, and it doesn't really matter what point you pick in between. We'll have more practice on this eventually, so don't feel like you have to be an expert on this after this short video. All right, and then let's finish it off. Name the arc intercepted by angle ARX. So I'm going to go up here and find angle ARX. So angle ARX is that angle right there. So we want to find the arc that that angle intersects. So it's just going to be the part of the circle from A to X. So angle ARX intercepts the arc AX. Or again, you could say arc XA. And there's only one answer for that. I don't know why there are 2 blanks, but there's only one answer for that. Similarly, try to find the arc intercepted by angle ABY. So now we want to find the arc intercepted by angle ABY. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to locate angle ABY. So that's angle ABY. So the arc that it intersects, it is again a minor arc because it's less than 180 degrees. So angle ABY intersects arc AY. I guess there could be 2 blanks because you could write that arc 2 different ways. You could write it as arc AY, or you could write it as arc YA. The last question just says name at least 2 acute angles. Acute just means less than 90. So we need to find 2 angles that are less than 90 degrees. So that should be pretty easy. We can get that by just looking at the diagram. So an angle that's less than 90 degrees looks like, let's pick a different angle. I'm going to pick this one right here where Y is. We can't call that just angle Y. We need 3 letters. Y is the vertex. I'm going to call that, instead of angle Y, I'm going to call it angle RYB in that order. Or you could call it angle BYR. So that's one acute angle because that angle, the purple angle, is less than 90 degrees. So angle RYB. See if you can find another acute angle. I'm going to go, again, there's more than one correct answer here. There's a lot of different answers. I'm going to go with that green angle. Which that green angle we would call angle A is the vertex again, so it would be angle XAR. Or you could call it angle RAX. And that's number 10. All right, number 11, we've got the answer there. That M stands for measure. So when you see that notation, that means the measure of arc XA. And the next question says, is arc XA a major or a minor arc? So remember, major means greater than 180, minor means less than 180. And you should already have that written down in the notes earlier, but that's what major and minor arc means. So let's go back up and look at arc XA. So arc XA, and really a dead giveaway is they only use 2 letters. We know for 2 letters, if we say arc XA, it's going to be a minor arc every single time. So we don't even really need to look at the picture. If they use 2 letters, that means it is going to be a minor arc. So arc XA is minor. The next question says name the major arc to the minor arc XA in 2 different ways. So let's scroll back up here at the top. So again, our minor arc, arc XA, the major arc is that corresponds to that minor arc is everything else. Let me use a different color. Is everything else in that circle. So that's the major arc to the minor arc that's given. So name that red arc 2 different ways. Again, you need the beginning point, X, and you need the end point, A. Those can really be interchanged. And that red arc can be called major arc X, BA. So from X to B to A, or you could call it X, Y, A, in that order. And there are actually other things you could call that arc. You could go backwards. You could say arc A, Y, X. A lot of different answers. These are the answers to that question below. All right, so the last couple of questions we're going to go through tells us the measure of arc BX is 130 degrees. So I'm going to erase all this right here. Again, they give us 2 letters. So arc BX is going to be that red arc. It is not going to be from B to X the long way around, because that would be greater than 180 degrees. So arc BX, we said, was 130 degrees. They want us to find the measure of arc XA. So we're finding arc XA. So we know that this right here, AB, is the diameter, which means that's half a circle we have in this picture. And earlier we said half a circle, we've got it right here, is 180 degrees. So that means if arc XB in the red is 130, what's left in the blue has to be 50, because 180 minus 130 is 50 degrees. So the measure of arc XA or AX is 50 degrees. All right, and then a similar question on 15. It's the same 2 arcs. So notice the measure of arc BX and the measure of arc XA. We just saw that those 2 arcs form half of the circle, so that we know that those 2 arcs added together equal 180 degrees. So this should be a very similar or a very familiar problem. Both those arcs have to add up to 180 degrees. So to solve for X, we need to add those together and set it equal to 180. So there's the work. X should equal 24. Going to erase, so if you haven't got it all, make sure you pause. So now that we know X equals 24, to find the measure of arc BX, we're just going to substitute 24 for X. And we're going to do the same thing for part C. So there's our complete answer to number 15.